A woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. Of course her parents don't have a problem with me being black. She's past the wall. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
So you got drunk at a frat party, then fucked the football team? You're not a rape victim, sweetheart.
You're a slut. What's up, guys? It's your man Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of the Sharp Reality. At Donovan_Sharp is where you can find me on Twitter. And if you want to listen to past episodes, you can find the archive on thesharpreality.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and of course right here on YouTube. You guys can support the show by bookmarking the Amazon link on my homepage and doing all your Amazon shopping through that link, or you can contribute at the bottom of the page. If you guys have questions, comments, show ideas, or personal stories you'd like to share, go to the contact tab on my homepage and drop me your thoughts. And if you listen to TSR on iTunes, be sure to leave me a review if you enjoy the content and you get something out of it. Leaving a review will really help my iTunes rankings and in turn help to increase the profile of the show. So if you iTunes listeners could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate that. I've got a big announcement coming up in a few weeks regarding the show. We're going to be making some major changes here at TSR Tower, so definitely stay tuned for that. There are few things in this world that are as useless, as futile, as fruitless as arguing or debating with a female. So, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I've come up with eight reasons why it's useless or why you shouldn't argue or debate with a woman. Let's go ahead and get right to it. Number 1, she won't listen. Women are notorious for talking out of the sides of their collective necks for no reason at all. They'll be standing around doing nothing, then all of a sudden a thought comes into their heads and their mouths they start running off at the mouth. And a lot of times they're not aware of their surroundings. If you want to have a conversation with a woman on a topic that you disagree with them on, you're going to get the same treatment. She's going to run off at the mouth, and she won't stop talking. And if she won't stop talking, and we've all been in arguments or debates with women, she'll start to talk, and then she'll pause for a quick second, and you'll try to reply or retort, and she'll just continue to talk through you. And if she's talking through you, guess what, guys? She's not listening. It is pointless to talk to someone who doesn't take a breath long enough to hear what you're saying. So the number one reason it is absolutely pointless to argue or debate with a woman is because she's not going to listen. Number 2, women are impervious to reason or rationale. On the off chance a female actually stops talking long enough for you to get a word in, we as men, we are likely going to make a reasonable counter-argument that is also rational and measured, which obviously is exactly what's expected in a debate or an argument as you're trying to argue your side. Well, here's the problem. Women don't listen to reason, and they don't listen to rationale. Even if what you say, guys, makes perfect sense, she won't realize it because females by nature they're not designed to be reasonable in the first place. This is the feminine conundrum. This is part of the feminine package. This is part of the female hard drive. They are not designed to be reasonable, especially when they are in an argument or a debate with a man. You add that to the fact that women rarely listen to anyone says, your counter argument is just going to go in one ear and out the other regardless of how much sense it makes. Number 3, her arguments will be emotional. Okay? Again, guys, women are emotional by nature. And if you as a man attempts to have a debate with an emotional woman, listen, guys, be prepared for an emotional response. If you say something like, I disagree, the sky is blue, she'll reply with something like, fuck you, you want the sky to be blue because you're an asshole. If you would open your fucking eyes and look around and see shit ain't always what it looks like, you'd know how dumb you are, or just something off the wall like that. Expecting a woman to remove emotion and inject reason or rationale into her arguments and or counter arguments, guys, you're going to be disappointed. This is not what women are capable of doing. Number 4, and I know a lot of you experience this. I used to experience this a lot back in my blue pill days when I actually engaged in these kind of arguments or debates with women, is that she'll yell and talk over you when she knows you are onto something. I know you've all experienced this. And listen, to be fair, both men and women alike are guilty of this, but women obviously they're the biggest offenders. When she and just like I said, they're number three. When she closes her mouth and actually opens her mind long enough to hear what you're saying and realizes that you might be making a point that will effectively win the debate, what she'll do is she'll start to yell and talk over you. And if this is not an accident, okay? The reason they do this is to stop you from dropping the hammer on her and making her look bad and possibly making her wrong. Women hate being wrong about anything that comes out of their mouths. And a lot of times they will stoop to this. And this technique it's almost adolescent to make sure that you don't verbally prove her wrong. But that's not the only tactic that they use, this whole talking over you when they know you're onto something. If she gets the idea that you might actually be making sense on any given topic, she'll move to number 5, which is she'll muddy the waters. Here's a quick example of muddying the waters. And basically, I'll just give you an example. So, for example, if you tell a woman, listen, you tell a woman, listen, I'm telling you, Susie, the reason, American men are dating non-American women is because non-American women bring more to the table and they don't mind being submissive to a man. This is what you say to a woman. Well, then a woman will say, she'll muddy the waters. She'll say something like, well, my mother was submissive to my father and he beat her ass every day. That's the problem with men. You guys are all trying to hit women and put your hands on women. So rather than making a counter argument to what you said, she brought in domestic violence because deep down she knows that women aren't submissive and that men, and it doesn't really matter what race of men, she knows that men like submissive women, and you pointed that out. She didn't want you to get that out edgewise, so she tried to divert the argument, change the argument, or muddy the waters. And if you take the bait, the next thing you know is you'll be talking about domestic violence. The number 6 reason why it is pointless to argue or debate with a woman: you won't change her mind. When someone is engaged in a debate or an argument with someone, it's generally assumed that both individuals are willing to have their minds changed if presented with new information about any given topic. No, this isn't always the case, but most mildly intelligent people know and understand that they could be wrong about certain things and are open to different points of view. Women, on the other hand, they're not here for that. Women don't want to get it right, they want to be right. So no matter what they hear, even if they are listening, they're not going to change their mind for no other reason but that they're just being stubborn. They want to be right. And they want you to see that they're right and she's not moving off her stand. They don't want to get it right, they want to be right. Number 7, even if you do change her mind, she's not going to acknowledge it. Guys, I have never heard a woman say this to me. Okay, Donovan, I admit it. You're right and I'm wrong. I never saw it that way. You could, when you're in a debate or an argument with a woman, you could nuke her argument from orbit and effectively disprove everything she said while making your point undeniable and know that you are 100% right. But women will never verbally acknowledge it. She won't acknowledge it to herself, and she's damn sure not going to acknowledge it to you or anybody else. So if you think a female will ever verbally acknowledge that she's wrong, or actually acknowledge that you're right, guys, think again. That will never ever be the case. If you're trying to get a woman to admit that she is wrong, don't hold your breath. Not going to happen. The 8th and final reason it is absolutely pointless to argue or debate with a woman is she'll do what I like to call playing the reverse blame game. So, I'll give you an example. I'll say something like, single moms are bad parents. And then women will say, well, single dads are worse. Anytime a man makes a claim or an accusation against women, women instantly retaliate with, oh yeah, well, men do it too and they do it worse. Doesn't matter what it is. Women have bad attitudes, so do men. Women don't appreciate good treatment, it's because of men. Regardless of what you say about them, women will always reverse it and make the same accusation against us and make it sound worse. This is what they do. This is a go-to technique or strategy. The bottom line here, guys, is that you should never debate or argue with a woman at any time for any reason on any topic, guys. It's an exercise in futility at best and a headache at worst. The sad part about the sad part about this, guys, is that women are intelligent enough to have a conversation, and really they're instinctual enough to understand and comprehend the topic at hand. But their temperaments, their stubbornness, their overall miserable dispositions make it impossible to get anything through their thick skulls. And again, even if you do, they're not going to admit it to themselves, they won't admit it to you, and they're not going to admit it to everybody else. So if a woman wants to engage in a debate with you, or if she wants to argue with you, just leave the room, close your mouth, or just ignore completely. That's going to do it for this edition of TSR. Visit thesharpreality.com anytime to access all episodes, which can also be found on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. And don't forget to bookmark the Amazon link on our homepage if you want to support the show. Thanks for listening.